Today's topic is about affidavit of support. It's the form, when you're applying for a green card for residency. You know that there's, a stumbling block that because you might not have enough income, or let's say you're the foreign national and your sponsor, your US citizen spouse or parent may not have enough funds in the sense that you don't have a current job that has that can show enough. Okay, so we're going to show you the chart. Even if you have a job as a foreign national, unfortunately, your income does not count unless you have a valid work permit. But other scenarios, my sponsor doesn't have a job, and you're thinking that might stop you. Well, here, let's take a look. I'll just show you in general. Sponsor's household size of 2. Let's say it's a spouse case. You don't have any children, no dependents on your tax return. Then it's just 2 people. Okay. If you're not in the military, okay, then you skip the middle column here. And then you go to the right side where it says 125%. I think most of y'all know how to read. Take a look at this. If you just Google search, it's 864p, and it should pop right up the first page. But of course, when you're searching for things, especially related to law, be careful which one you click. Okay, as you have more family members or more dependents, maybe they're not your own child, but they're dependent on your tax return, then you need to go down the line here. So 22,887. Let's just use an example here. Let's say you don't have a job, or your sponsor doesn't have a job. That's okay. You can use your assets. And when people think of the word assets, most people think of, oh, I need a house. Yeah, a house can help. Okay, any property you may own can help. You can use the equity in that. Okay, it's not equity is the amount that you already paid into that property, for example. And so you just take the difference from the you just have to look back at your mortgage statements and all that, how much you've already paid. And we provide those kind of documents, mortgage statement, to USCIS. All right, but of course, if you don't have a lawyer, this is why I'm sharing this information, so that you know what to do. So that's option 1. Use the equity from your house. Or option 2, or you can use a combination of it. Use the cash or savings or stocks. That's equity technically. That's money, okay? That's real money in your accounts or your retirement accounts. You can use that. When it's a case involving a spouse, then you do 3 times the amount, all right? If there's a difference. So 22,887. Let's say you do have a job, okay? Let's use that example. Let's say your job pays you 21,000, okay? So the difference is 1887. And by the way, it's not, even if you didn't have a job last year or even like last month, but now you have a job, totally fine. The government wants to know the anticipated income as if you worked for a full year. Okay, so that's very key. I know people have been getting a lot of requests for evidence based on not even marriage evidence. It's about the financial sponsorship. I think it's a bunch of baloney from the government, but that's just another way that they're trying to stop people from getting status. So try not to take no for an answer. There's another way. So let's say your job pays you 21,000, and the pay stubs amount to that for the full year, calendar year. So the difference is 1887. If it's a spouse case, you times it by 3. Okay, so the difference is 1887 times 3. I don't know. Can you see all right. It's 5661. Okay. Is the times 3 difference. So in that sense, you need to show that your account, any of your cash accounts or retirement, stocks, checking or savings, you have to show the amount at least 5661. Okay. At the time that you're, let's say you're responding to requests for evidence, or when you initially file your case. Okay, because if possible, you really want to provide this form 864, and if you file yourself, you want to let them know in advance. Let them know, because they're going to see it that you don't have enough income in that sense. Let them know you're going to provide them this information later on when it gets closer to interview, because you don't want to get in a situation that maybe just USCIS just straight out deny your case, and that will be really, really frustrating because you already paid all these fees. When it comes to residency, plus the petition form, so the 485 plus the I-130, 1,760. I remember all these random fees, numbers, so don't think I'm crazy, because I look at this stuff pretty much every single day. But yeah, it can include real estate, property, but probably if you have property, there's probably not a concern for you. Yeah, I'm trying to think a scenario like this because pandemic, you might have, some people have lost their jobs, some people got a job, a new job, or returned to the previous job. But maybe a situation you just don't want to work. I totally get it. I've been told I got to keep working, so to help y'all out, so I can't stop. But for y'all that are watching this and you just want to take a break from work, it might be okay because as long as you have, you can do the times three if it's a spouse case, or times five. It's not if it's not a spouse case, then you can, if you have that amount, then yeah, you could just chill out, take a break. This whole like, yeah. I mean, I'm telling y'all, if you are thinking to move to America or and want to stay in America, we don't just chill usually. That's why this whole pandemic has really, at least speaking with friends, this has really, and clients, this has really been like eye opening. Maybe just doing other kind of work or things like that. I know a lot of lawyers are trying to think of other ways to do different type of work. Actually, it's not just the non-legal field, of course, because we're on this like 24/7 clock. But I really care about my team, so we do have parameters. We typically don't answer on the weekend, okay? Unless I just happen to have a chance to look at emails or my team does. But at the same time, we are very intentional in offering free 15-minute appointments as a client. And it's included with the flat fee. Okay. We normally 99.9% do not charge hourly rates. There's some immigration law firms that do, but we do offer three different plans. Okay. Pro plan, max, and then light plan. So it lists all the services available. Max plan usually is the one that includes the attorney representation at your interview and also to help respond to the request for evidence or knowing. Now we try our best to respond to, or not just respond, but file the case with as much proper evidence needed. Now we're not going to give them a whole stack. Okay, we're not like that kind of law firm. But I heard about some law firms that only provide the forms and maybe the marriage certificate. That's not enough. We're preparing cases as if it should be approved, okay, if there were no interview. If it's a case not involving a spouse, some of y'all have that situation where it could be maybe a parent sponsoring. Of course, depending on age, it'll be like family preference, F1 through 4, or sibling. Then it's times 5, okay? Now, this times 3 times 5, using your assets, this is an option if you truly believe you can't find a joint sponsor, or maybe you tried to find one and your joint sponsor, your friend or family, coworker, it doesn't have to be a family member like an aunt or, a cousin or something. It could be someone random, actually. It doesn't have to be someone you know. But of course, I would think you would want to ask someone who you trust to some extent, that they know that you're going through this immigration journey, okay, with our team. But yeah, here's the other thing you need to know, that when you're prepared to ask someone to be a joint sponsor, these are hot tips right here. So the tip number one about what to ask a joint, like someone to be a joint sponsor. The first thing is, well, maybe not to ask yet. What you need to know is verify that they're a U.S. citizen or a resident holder. Now, if they have sponsored someone recently and that person is not a U.S. citizen yet, you have to add them. People always ask, well, can that person still sponsor? Yes, they can. But what you want to ask also is how many people are in their household, because that counts towards the household size. If you got two friends or coworkers that are, they have good salary, a high enough salary above the guidelines here, then you ask the family or the person who has less people in their family, because then it's just always better in terms of documentation. Okay. Now, if it's apples to apples and you trust both of them and they have similar salary, yeah, ask the one that has probably less dependents. That's what we recommend. Okay. Because that can save you a lot of time, because sometimes, at least in the past, we've provided better guidelines with our clients, but in the past, a client would ask someone who has a lot of family members, but even though it may appear to be higher income maybe than yours, or your sponsor, it's still like, it's way too much in terms of the government. Do you have to file the sponsor form at the same time as you file the entire case? Of course, it's preferable, but if you don't for some reason, just because of timing, don't delay filing your case in general if you have everything else ready. But just marking a letter, write to USCIS that you're going to provide your joint sponsor form when you receive a request for evidence or as soon as you get the documentation ready from your joint sponsor. And here's the deal. Just like I have the scrolling text down here at the bottom, is that because there's delays all the time by the government, USCIS. There's delays. We have some now. Don't get me wrong. There's some cases, especially these days with USCIS, that we receive them. A client received the EAD work permit after about 3 months from filing. Okay, because they finally, I hope they change the process. It seems they have in at least one office. We have some clients that unfortunately their case because it's older, filed it many months ago. They're still waiting on EAD. Okay, so this at this point, this is when, of course, we're inquiring with USCIS on the case, but it happens. Okay, USCIS is it's difficult to explain what's going on in their internal systems. Don't wait to file just because you don't have enough like the sponsored form ready or you don't have a job. There could be another solution. So hopefully, my tips here in this video can help you. This is the way to go to our website, greencardguys.com. The first thing is go to contact us page, scroll down, take the free quiz, and then just answer a few questions, not too much. We don't want to have you spend too much time on it. And then it'll take you, after you click submit, it'll take you to the next page to go and schedule the free 15-minute appointment. I hope the tips that we share with you were helpful. There's of course probably so many other ways that you can go around the sponsorship situation, but takeaway here is don't give up. You might be able to still properly show more money, cash, than what your sponsor can show. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And I wish you a wonderful day.